James, Will, I absolutely loved this season. What does life look like for you both? In this time period when the show's just premiered and everyone's kind of going batshit crazy over it. What's that look like for you?
I mean, me personally, I just sort of try and just take it easy as much as
Mm.
possible. Yeah, like see friends, see family, do things that are just really grounding, and stay off my phone as much as possible, which is easier said than done.
I think it's the same for me. I definitely uh lay low for like the first couple of days. I think the cortisol, whatever, is that the thing? Like the excitement has sort of like died down for me and things like kind of feel normal. But yeah, definitely stay off the phone, I think is a big one for me. Um, and yeah, just surround myself with my inner circle and kind of pretend that nothing really is happening.
I mean, you're both very powerful. If I get one notification on my phone, I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed. So I don't know how you guys are doing it.
Very overwhelming. I think that's the word I would sort of use to encapsulate the whole thing. I think it's been super exciting and it's nice that people have received season two um so positively.
It's such a fun season. Let's talk about your characters because they're both quite trailblazing. Darren is non-binary and Cash is asexual, and those kinds of queer stories are sadly still quite rare to see on television. So, what does it mean for you both to be at the forefront of such progressive storytelling?
I think what's special, I guess, for us, it's certainly not lost on us, but in a sense, I don't know if Will's the same, but I don't think it's like something we actually think that much about. I think when we're doing it, I think, which is in a way also kind of special in its own thing. I think because these types of kids exist in the world and we're just like telling that version of that story. I think, I don't know, there's almost a so honored to be delivering a story like this, particularly in Australia, where I think that young queer representation still has a like long way to go. Um, but I also sometimes feel like a little bit disappointed every time we are reminded that this is a trailblazing story, which we're so honored to be a part of. Like, I love Darren and Cash's story so much. It's like one of my favorite love stories, like, period, I think, in any like YA I consume. Um, yeah, it is very special, and we try and handle it in a really delicate way. I mean, these two have a very intricate, rare and unique relationship, and they're also very young and sort of managing, or not managing is not the right word, but how we sort of navigate that as actors and how the writers have navigated that in the script with um the tenderness that they have has just been really special to play.
Yeah, I mean, everything James said, I think especially that aspect of like feeling like the feeling's not lost on us, but I suppose we've lived with these characters for years now, which is also very, very crazy to think about in terms of how long this process has been to get to a second season. So for us, we're so comfortable with Cash and Darren, and they're so close to us that I don't know. Maybe yeah, we've gotten a little bit used to having these characters in our lives, but we're always reminded of how special and how groundbreaking this rep really is when it's times like this and when the show comes out and we get these responses from fans. And I think it's just so lovely to see, two characters who I think the aspects of their identity which are being represented can sometimes be reduced down to caricature, but the fact that what's going on with their queerness is just like one part of their identity. I think that's what's really special about it to me. Like they're so well rounded, and they're very important to the story, which is just so refreshing.
I mean, sometimes when I do these interviews and I ask about that, like the importance, it feels like, oh, of course it's important, of course, duh. It feels like a redundant question. But like, in this day and age, it's because I feel like we're in bubbles, right? You're on a very queer show. I'm in gay times, sometimes um queer issues, it becomes just so much part of our lives that we don't really think about it. But then we forget that the outside world still have a long way to go. So I can't wait for the day where I stop going, how important is it?
I mean, it's, yeah, as Will said, it's definitely not lost on us. I mean, there's messages every day, almost every hour coming through being like how important these characters are for young people and audiences, and that's really, really special. And that's a testament to our writers as well for platforming, I think, characters like this, and as Will said, not making them just side plot or, divisive. It feels genuine and thought out and tender. Yeah.
And like Will said, being non-binary and asexual is just one small little facet of these characters. So what do you both love most about Darren and Cash?
I think I don't know, Darren's quips. Darren's little asides to their friends or themselves. I think I like Darren's sort of uh honesty, but also this sense, like this bravado that they also sort of parade around, which also feels very sort of truthful to like young queerness and confidence, I think. That's really fun to play. Darren and Cash together, though, what I love about the two of them is that I think outside of each other, they have very much their own worlds or the way that they move through the world, whether that's like I don't know, as I said with Darren, I feel like there is a sense of sort of bravado, false confidence or whatever. But when they are with Cash, it feels like they truly can be themselves. And I would say that's probably maybe the same for Cash. I feel like when they're together, they are themselves wholly and completely. And I think all of the truth is sort of revealed, particularly for Darren. I think that Cash brings out a lot of that for them. A lot of the sort of realness. The scenes that Will and I have tumultuous sometimes. Like the scenes really go from 0 to 100 sometimes. But I think what I love about Darren and Cash together is that they feel very comfortable with each other, but also comfortable in the uncomfortability as well in their relationship, sort of.
I think that the thing that I love about their relationship is very much what James said. It's like this element of they can be entirely themselves around one another. And I think that's especially so true for Cash, because something that I love playing with is the fact that when he's with Darren, you basically see like a completely different side of him that no one else gets to see, except for maybe Nan. And I think that very much factors into like what I love so much about Cash, which is I think his sweetness. There's a real like sweet, softy sort of side to him. And I would say the other thing I really love about Cash is his courage. I think he's really brave in like just everything that he does in his life and everything that he goes through, especially in this second season. He has to deal with a lot. So that's what I love about him.
I can't imagine either of them with anyone else. When Darren showed up at the dorm and then the Dusty thing, I was no, 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 no. I was like, don't do it. Don't do it. And I'm so scared.
I think I had the same reaction when I was reading the scripts. I was like, whoa, we're going there. And Josh, who plays Dusty, we're like super close friends. So like when we were reading it, I was like texting and being like, you would not believe what's happening. But yeah, I think I'm so, so glad that they didn't, because yeah, I mean, I hope Darren and Cash are end game. I hope so. But you never know.
You know what these writers are like? They'll throw a spanner in the works at some point, and everyone's going to go absolutely ape shit, including me. I know it hasn't been confirmed yet, but you know it will. The series is a huge hit. But what are your hopes for? Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Actually, no, I'm not going to cross these fingers. They don't need crossing because it's going to happen. All right, it's going to happen. What are your hopes for Darren and Cash, both individually and as a couple, in season 3?
Oh, I mean, I think as a couple, maybe a bit of stability would be nice for a season. As James was saying, it's pretty tumultuous sometimes, and there was some. I'm pretty sure I'm allowed to say this, but there was even some more stuff that got deleted that ended up in deleted scenes where we were fighting even more, and it was very dramatic. Having like full, blow ups in the middle of the school library, but that's like that's another thing. Yeah, I think if they could just get to a place where they're like stable and maybe they've kind of found their rhythm a little bit more, which I think was what they were sort of beginning to find in the second season, that would be really, really good. Because I think they are end game. I hope they are, and I think they deserve that. And then individually for Cash, I think him just continuing to discover his identity and finding out like more about who he is now that he has, a closer relationship with like his friends at Hartley High rather than like the Eshe group like outside of the school. And him, thinking about what his life is going to be like moving forward now that he's sort of gotten himself away from these bad influences. So, I don't know, maybe Cash could get like a massive makeover, if we get a third season. He could have like new haircut, new clothes, new everything. It could be a whole new day for Cash.
I think for me, for Darren and Cash, I agree. I definitely hope that there is some stability for them in the future. I mean, they're in year 11. Like, let's chill out a bit. I think for Darren, I would love, I don't know, to see them sort of get a hobby, be happy. I would like to sort of see, I don't know, what do year 11s do? I think thinking about career and like what you want to do after school. I think that's quite a big thing for any young person, particularly queer people. I think that could be a really interesting storyline of Darren sort of thinking, where do I go from here? And what does that sort of look like? I would love to know what Darren's sort of hobbies are and what that sort of extracurricular realm for them looks like. But yeah, I hope there's some sort of joy for Darren this season. I mean, if we get a next season.
It'll happen. And please, if it happens, don't take 2 years. I don't think I can handle it. I just can't do it.
We're getting older as well. We can't wait 2 years over.
Oh my God, yeah, you'll be in your 30s playing 17-year-olds at this point, won't you? Thank you so much for your time today. It's been lovely, and I'm sure we'll chat again for season 3, when it gets approved, and it'll be soon.
Thank you, Sam. I could listen to you talk all day.
Oh God, my mumbling.
No. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Sam. Thank you.